Got it. That was me, Bird. That was me, buddy.
Did that work?
Okay, and I think we have the chat up and running. All right. Whoa, it's the illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. We'll just do a little bit of worm. So this is we're doing the new the viewer as the co-host #1 with Uma. The story, is it the Book of Uma or Story of Uma? Your channel.
The Book of Uma is my YouTube channel.
All right. So here we are with guest #1. You're the official launch of the new paradigm here on YouTube. So
thank you so much, Hamish, for the opportunity. Seriously, thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. And let me just get us, make sure we got, and I can read the things. There we go. All righty. All right. Hey, everybody. How you guys doing? Okay. We're here with Uma, and Uma's a direct result of what happens when you send an email and you make a suggestion. So why don't you introduce yourself and fill yourself in how you ended up right here on this screen with us? Because I think it would help other people realizing that it's kind of that easy.
Okay. So my name is Uma. I hail from the Enchanted Lands, New Mexico. I've been a viewer of The Illusion from like way, way, way back from the very beginning. What's that, like 10 years or something crazy like that, right?
Almost coming up on 12 years.
Oh, been that long? Okay. So
I know, that's crazy. Right?
Yeah. So I'm one of his loyal viewers, and as I've been watching him through this experience that we're having in Earth School at this time, I found myself like feeling pretty lonely out here in regards to really having someone to speak about how I felt this stuff was going on. And I just was seeking a place where I could tell my story about my life. And on my YouTube channel, I call them chapters. And I'm sharing how I'm walking upon Earth School during this time. And I've noticed that I've had a lot of people that don't really want to have a dialogue with me about where I stand in it. And I finally just had the courage to send out an email to Hamish and say, hey, I'm a viewer. Would you mind just checking out what I have to say if you have some time? And here we are. He blessed me with listening. So he had ears to hear and eyes to see, and here I am.
Yes, we are here. I'm copying your. Do you mind if I post your channel up in the stream for other people?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. All right. Let me spam the chat real quick here. Why did I get an error? Hold on. Did something happen? Did I hit a button? There we go. All right. There's the book of Uma right there. So yeah. So it's interesting. You go, well, I thought the thing that struck the nerve was about the feminine energy, right? And it's interesting as on this side of the thing it does become a male energy heavily laden reality, because I am a male energy, right? And it's funny how it moves in that direction sometimes. And so when you mentioned that, I was like, that was the impetus for like, let me just get a hold of you and put female energy into this matrix right here and let it happen, because that is the male energy thing's not a conscious choice. It's just working in the field, so to speak, with what I have available to me. And I find that there is a bridge there with who's willing to come on and kind of chat in these open forums versus who isn't. You know what I mean? So I think what we're doing here is a little bit different, because it is just two people talking about what's life. There's no interview. We're trying to find balance, right?
Well, I just noticed, because I'm a loyal viewer of yours, that I noticed that you, from what I remember, I don't remember you actually speaking to a woman on your channel. And so I was hopeful that you would just give me a chance. And I was kind of wobbly at first, because I know that you're married and there may be a line of respect there. So I wanted to put that there also, that, I didn't want to overstep a line. But I also noticed that I don't really find a lot of females that are speaking about this. And maybe I'm just not looking in the right direction. But I do find that there's a lot of males that are speaking about it. But I just thought it would be a cool opportunity for us to, be able to cover both sides.
Oh, absolutely. And I absolutely wonderful idea. And that's what I was filling you in on, is that the interesting thing is, because we live in this. So and you're a YouTuber, so you experience this, is you don't really know who's on the other side of the comment. Some of the people I've had the pleasure of meeting out, like Caruster, I've met up in Oregon. I know Lily on here, and I know a couple others that have reached out, and we've talked, and we've made it a more personal place. But you find that it's very hard to know who anybody is. You just kind of, it's intuitive, right? And then I was filling you in that the largest majority of the blue wrenches in the chat are women. And
I found that really interesting. I would have had no idea, really.
Well, that's what if you had asked me, looking at the demographics of who watches this channel, that these two different, totally different groups would, I guess it makes sense now that I think about it, but that my largest demographic is males under 24 and women over 50 are my largest viewing audience, and then everybody in between. But I guess it sort of makes sense in a weird paternal, youthful way of who that would be the interesting, because I guess in a weird way is, I don't know how it all works. I really truly don't. In here, but what struck me as I watched your first video, and you were asking a lot of questions. Your video, or it was a couple days ago, you were asking very relevant questions that I think all of us are asking. And why don't we start there, and just why don't you start off the conversation with asking your questions and where because you're living a totally different reality than mine, as a unique human soul would be out in New Mexico, and I'm doing it here in Los Angeles. And so I think our questions are very similar from very different perspectives.
Okay.
So, go.
Okay, let's see. Well, I walk differently than Hamish in the way that I am autoimmune compromised. So as far as me walking, in public without a mask and protecting myself, that's something that I've done the entire time, because obviously I can't risk my health. So that was different. And as far as feeling like I wanted a vaccine, I never wanted the vaccine. Because
we got to use the sauce.
Oh yes. Oh man, I hope I didn't mess that up.
No, it's all good. I don't care.
Okay, from here forward, I'll just be like this. Okay, everybody
call it the sauce. Yeah.
This. Okay. Yeah. So this stuff, man, that sucks. I hope I didn't totally screw it up. This sauce, I've been adamant that I didn't want it, because for me, as someone that is compromised, to me, that is something that I believe could bring me harm. One, I'm super sensitive to these kind of things, so I wasn't willing to take that ever. So we're different in that aspect. Also, you don't want this, I don't want this, but we walk differently. Where you're all about the you don't believe in the face diaper, right? As you call it. To me, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's kind of nice to be a little stealthy. So I also think I was just having a lot of uncomfortable feelings because I noticed that a lot of people were getting really pissed off at people that were choosing not to get this stuff, And at the same time, I couldn't understand the numbers that I was seeing. They just don't make sense. I don't get it. And I think if anybody really truly looks closely, you can see that there's like holes in the story that just don't make sense. And I was making this video so that people could better understand why I don't want this, because I noticed that a lot of people that I knew in my group had already done this. And I could see that they were very hesitant to want to even like deal with me. And that was super strange for me. Like I could literally tell that there was a difference by the way that people were wanting or not wanting to interact with me anymore because of this, not wanting this. And I just felt like I really wanted to be heard and be like, hey, listen to my story, please. Like, give me an opportunity to explain to you why I don't want this. To me, this will hurt me. This will hurt me because I am sensitive. And so someone that is already totally sensitive to put something that is, to me, an experiment and obviously has things that happen to you, not to everyone, I understand, but happens to some people. For my health, I can't accept taking that chance for myself. And I was looking for some compassion in that and some understanding that I'm not just a hater. I mean, if you want to take this, I think that you absolutely should take it if you want it. If you believe it's of service to your family, then I think that you should do it. But I was looking for a place where I could be like heard, like, please, can you try to be open enough to understand that I'm not telling you not to do it. What I'm asking for is compassion and ears and eyes that you can hear my story as to why I don't want it. And maybe just realize I'm not a hater. I think that there is a place for Western medicine for sure, but that's not the way that I live my life. I will always seek like a natural way of healing myself first. And I was just looking for a place where I could be heard in that way. Like, can you be open enough to understand that not everybody's going to run towards a Western way of healing or a Western way of seeking health? And I really was finding that no one really wanted to have this conversation with me. And even though I put this video out there, the people that I had sent it to previous to you, it was like crickets. No one wanted to deal with me. No one wanted to hear me. No one wanted to even say, hey, I disagree with you, Uma. I disagree with your choice. No one wanted to say anything to me at all. And so that's why I turned to you and I took a chance like, hey, at least you are on the level where you understand that it doesn't make sense. And if you have been blessed with time, and I realize a lot of people aren't blessed with time, they're busy with their children and they're trying to survive. But I have been blessed with time to do, research and gain wisdom from like years and years and years ago. So to me, it wasn't like a shock that things were unfolding in the way that they were. And that's hard for people to understand as well. And it's hard for me that, they don't know. And it's hard to make people uncomfortable because I never want to make someone uncomfortable. I just want us to be able to have a dialogue with each other about the differences that we have. And if we can come together and listen to one another as to why we do or don't want, and realize that, the way each of us walk upon this earth is so different from one another. To just think this one thing is going to fix what's going on is like really, to me, it's just not going to work out that way. Because to me, there's so much more to this story than just that. So much more. There's so much more being implemented into a world system in just this action alone that I think that a lot of people just don't know. And I don't want to be a hater that you don't know. You know, I just want to say, hey, it's not really what you think it is. It's way, way, way bigger than what you, a tiny piece of the story, you know? And I want to say that I have serious, and I think this is very important for me to say, that I'm aware that there are a lot of people that have lost loved ones. Lo siento mucho. In English, that means I'm very sorry for your loss. And I have great respect for you and your family members that have lost loved ones, that have lost, you know, your homes, your sobriety, your mental health. There is great suffering in this, and I understand that. And I want you to know that I want to come at you compassionately in this, and I want you to understand I can see how you would dislike someone like me because I'm choosing not to take a step that you're choosing, especially if you've lost someone from this, right? But I'm just asking for opportunity to be heard, that there's many other people, obviously, in this world, and there's many different reasons why we're choosing not to take this. And I also wanted an opportunity to just say, like, I don't live my life like most people. Like, I'm fully like living the monk life, you know? I have my kingdom, I stay within my kingdom, I pray, I live with my lover, I keep to myself, I make YouTube videos, I share stories of my life with people. And I just want to come to a place where we can realize that we've all been traumatized in this. You know, the entire world, we've never really experienced it on this kind of level. And I just am hoping that if we get the bravery to share our stories with one another about how this experience is for us, maybe then we can come at each other more compassionately and more loving. Because to me, it is purposely creating division. It is purposely creating fear. And we were already divided, in my opinion, in humanity, right? And this is just like really pushing it to the edge of like extreme division. And that's a bad thing. That's a very bad thing. And if we allow one piece of humanity to become in the government's hands as far as what happens to our body, this is a huge mistake for everyone on the entire planet. And I think that people don't get that because they've lost loved ones, they've lost work, they've lost so much. And they've been told, if you do this, it's going to come back. Your world as you knew it before will come back. And to me, it's not going to come back. It's never going to be what it was before. The chapter has changed and it's unfolding into a new, which is kind of actually really exciting, but at the same time, completely terrifying.
Yeah.
And I just want people to realize, in my understanding, if I give them, let's just call them, okay? If I give them control of my body, it's over. It's done. That's it. And if you don't realize that when you make that step, it's not just touching you, it's touching the entire planet. And so it's difficult because I struggle with it so much because I realize why you would want to take it. And I also realize why many don't want to take it. And so I'm trying to walk a line of being compassionate on both sides, for myself and for others. And so where do I find a place where I can be heard? I can say what I need to say and what I believe, and also be open to hear what other people have to say as well. And I think your space that you have seems to be doing really well in that regard. You know, you have a lot of viewers, you have people that are loyal to you, and you're able to really honestly come at people about how you are walking in this. And, you know, you've known this has been coming for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really hard also to like work with family members in regards to knowledge that we have spoken about already, that we've carried for a super long time, and trying to like get them to acknowledge things that we believe to be true and trying to be of assistance so that we can come together to prepare ourselves for what we believe is actually happening here. And that's difficult also. And so really what it comes down to is I was looking for like the tribe, you know, I'm like, where's my tribe out here? Like a little help, like, hello, I'm not alone. You're not alone. Let's come together. Let's hear each other. But I wasn't able to get anyone to actually have a dialogue with me about it. And I was realizing like the people that I do actually know didn't really want to talk about it. They're happy with, from what I can see, they've perhaps like taken this and they've gotten their jobs and they're happy to go to concerts and, you know, they're happy to go out to dinner. I don't do that stuff. I'm not interested in that stuff. So it's very different for me. So the fact that they've gotten this and they've gotten to be able to do those kind of things, which are very, very important to them, I can understand why they're looking at someone like me and being like, you're the problem. Like, get it together. You're the one that's making shit super hard on yourself. Like, just do this shit and let's get on with life. But I don't see stuff that way. So what now?
What now? Well, that's interesting. So let me drill down on this a little bit, because it's, I right off the bat, I heard something that was very interesting. As we're in the same space about this decision we've made, we're coming at it from the same perspective from two totally different sides of it, right? I don't want to participate on it because I don't want to introduce anything into my healthy body. Right. And you're coming at it from the same way because you don't want to introduce something into your unhealthy body, right? And I find that very fascinating. So for you as a person that there is something wrong with your spacesuit, so to speak, and you have a compromised immune system, right? And they build this product as some sort of enhancement for someone in your situation. I think right when I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, that's got to be an interesting spell to break on from your perspective, as that's one of their big selling points is it's made for you. Sure. And so maybe give us a little bit more information of what that looks like. You don't have to get into the specifics of it, but what it is to be in a spacesuit that has this flaw in it, being told that this product is meant to protect that from outside situations, and to break, what is it like to break that spell, and what does that look like for you?
I'm super happy that you caught on to that, because we didn't really talk about that yesterday. So I'm happy that you caught that, because I think that most people would think that people that are immune compromised would want this because they want to survive, but for me, it's been no, because I fight for my health constantly. And I suffer greatly with huge amounts of inflammation into my body, which makes my other organs not work well. And for instance, my eyes are having really severe issues in regards to my health. Lately my vision is completely blurry, and it's something that I'm really, really struggling with. Now there's things that automatically they could offer me, let's do surgery, let's fix this. And I go, no, let me visit all my healers that I know first, or they would go to me, oh, you're suffering from inflammation. Let's give you, I'm kind of wary about saying the stuff that they would give me because I don't know. Let's just say pharma stuff, right? They could offer me pharma stuff, which they have, and they tell me, well, this is what we have for you. But to me, that's not a healing for me. That's a cover of maybe something that could give me momentary relief from things that I'm suffering from, but it isn't really true healing for me. So I walk this life in pain and suffering, knowing that I could go to physicians, and I do go to physicians because I need to be checked on and monitored, and being offered medication and putting it off and knowing like, I have to be strong enough to fight this fight on my own if I don't want that stuff. And this has been going on for me for years. So this isn't something new to me. I mean, I fight really hard for my health. This includes like eating well. This includes healthy medication or medicine would be herbs. And this would be also including juicing, right? This would be clean food. This would mean sunshine. This would mean happiness. You know, true healing for me involves all these things. It doesn't just involve something that they give me. So because that has been my story for so long, where I'm unwilling to just take medicine, even though they say to me, we believe this will help you. I say, and I'm doing this right now because they've offered me something and I've said no. And they've offered me, well, we can, cut you up. Let's do that. And I was thinking to myself, no. I'm not willing. I'm not done fighting this fight yet. I know healers that I have not, linked in with, that are my really good friends. And it's time for me to step up and ask for help. Because it's very rare that I ask for help, actually. But now that I'm realizing like everything that's going on, it's actually very important. If you know healers out there, it's time for you to get to know them. And it's time to make those links with them. Like make it happen. These natural healers, like go for it and do it. And it's time for me to like link up with these people and seek true healing. Okay. I'm seeking true healing. I don't want something that's going to mask something else. I'm not looking for something that's going to maybe give me pain relief, but cause other problems with other parts of my body. I'm not interested in going that route. So to me, they're saying, if you take this, you're going to be okay. But I don't live that way anyway already. That's not a part of my story. Yeah. So when they're telling me, take this, you're going to be okay. I say, no, I'm not going to be okay. I don't fight that way. I don't fight for my life that way. And it's really super hard for me because obviously people see me and they're just like, you super suck. Like, just do it. And I'm like, I don't just do it anyway. That's not how I live. So how can you ask me to just do it now? Do it now so that you can go to the concert or the rave or wherever, fly to Japan. I don't know. Like,
that's where I think it's all right. This is a lot of where this solidifies a lot of where I do come from is you as a person in this situation experiencing this. You have the most to lose essentially by not participating in what I find it very interesting what you said. You're going to make me, this is going to make me better, but I can't really ever be better. I live in a certain amount of discomfort with my spacesuit the way it is. So what you're selling me is the way you're selling it to me is null and void anyhow, which is
to me it is maybe not to other people.
But they don't have your experience. Right. And I think that a lot of people, and someone where I come from, a lot of this is this perspective is, how offensive must it be for you as a person who has a situation where you suffer due to your spacesuit's malfunctions and have to even explain this to anybody? to me is overly offensive. Like to just as a bystander, like as a man on this planet, like, well, who thinks that they have any right to put that on you when you're the one with the most to lose, so to speak. And I think this comes down to the crux of what we're talking about is on a bigger level with this coercion and this forcing people to make decisions is your bodily autonomy, and what you do with it is yours, and nobody has the right to pressure you, especially like, I guess what I'm saying is like, you can pressure me all day long. Like I'm perfectly healthy. You can call me what you want, but to actually have that pressure applied to someone who is already in a state of suffering, it's even more diabolical. Like I would, because right, we talk about this a lot. Is like in order for you to proceed safely in your reality, no wonder you stay kind of in your kingdom, so you say. Like, right, it's your kingdom, your castle.
My kingdom.
Okay, and so no, what I was getting at is you literally have to like go explain what you just explained to everybody. Like that's crazy talk in a sense of like you shouldn't have to reveal anything about your health to anyone.
Well, we shouldn't have to ever to anybody.
Ever.
Right? Exactly. But I felt really strongly because I'm super glad because I get that you're getting it. And, obviously I could have kept this to myself, but I feel like it's an important story to be heard because people don't realize like where I'm coming from. And I'm sure there's several other people that are in the same situation that I am as well. They're just like, no way, this stuff is going to hurt me beyond my suffering. Like, and I already don't live that way. I don't want to take this stuff. Like I have suffering already and I have things offered to me. And I'm like, no, yes, I'm suffering, but I'm going to like pray to the Most High. I'm going to do my best, my absolute best to heal myself the best that I can and realize like, I'm going to die one day. We are all going to die one day. And that's the other thing too, is I think that a lot of this has to do with people's like not accepting death. But when you come from someone that actually suffers a lot, death is like a constant for me. Like, oh, this day may come. This day will come. And it's in my face probably more than you because you're a healthy person, right? But to me, I constantly am preparing myself like this day is going to come. This day is going to come. So I have to face it constantly. But when they're coming at us with, there's this thing and it's going to get you. And if you don't do what we say, you're going to die and you're going to kill your mom and you're going to kill everyone and you got to comply. And look, all these people that didn't do what we said, look at all these people died and it's their fault. It's like, wait. Actually, I'm not even participating like that. So why are you trying to force me? Like, I'm just living my own little world, living my little monk thing over here in my kingdom. Like, is it fair that you're going to come at me with all these rules and like you're really going to take over my body completely? And now my body belongs to the government? And I don't even like what? What?
Yeah. Well,
it's too much for me. It's too much. And I was frustrated with going to social media and hearing like, it's your fault. You're not vaccinated. You're the problem. And I'm like, actually, I'm not out there. It's not me. And I don't know who it is or what it is. And I'm not even about like blaming anyone for them wanting to live the way they want to live. Like, I totally get it. Like, if you want to be free, you don't want to wear this stuff. I get it. This sucks. And if you're not someone that's used to just like monking out like I am, I can understand that it was absolute hell for you. I'm sure. But for me, I'm just like, okay, another day. how I live anyway, except that now all of a sudden it's my fault because I'm not following the rules and I'm the one creating all this sickness. I mean,
let me ask you this, because a lot of it was a lot of the female energy stuff, and I don't think a lot of people truly understand that the allopathic medicine is a patriarchal medicine. It's a male dominated medicine construct. It comes from overbearing white males. Like, again, like I don't really buy into that stuff a lot, but as the people that are hyping this the most, like they're at the same time talking out of the other side of their mouth that like they're fighting the patriarchy and bring down the patriarchy and bring down the corporate goon squad. And yet they're advocating for a system of medicine that comes directly from this patriarchy that they claim to be against. And how does that work for you as just a woman to hear these men trying to force needles into your body? Like I call it what it is, but there's a giant big R word that you could bandy around when someone unwillingly has their body violated. But like it just seems to be very symbolic and ritualistic, and it's coming from this very much male dominated reality. Dude, these are all men out promoting this stuff. These are all like crazy white old dudes. And I, as a dude who doesn't walk in that mindset, right? Like in that thing, but like, if we're going to walk over here and with these people for a second who are promoting this as you must do this and you're part of the problem. Those are the same people that like 5 minutes ago were like, all these old boomers, dude. And they're like corporate patriarchal system are ruining the planet. And yet all of a sudden they're on the other side of their mind, like you must comply to this. And how does that feel as an obviously spiritually elevated woman? How does that work for you?
I don't really want to make things about sex, right? Or about male or female.
Sure.
But obviously I was seeing that there was a lack of females that were willing to speak up. And I just took a chance. Like, I don't male, let me be heard. And as far as the medical industry, like, I don't want to be hating, okay? Because I understand that there is Western medicine that actually does very good things for people. And I understand that, there's a mindset that people have that is where the healing comes from. And for some people, it truly does. But, I come from a place where both my parents had cancer. And one of my parents passed away from cancer and one of my parents survived. Bless up, Mom, if you ever see this. And it's Breast Cancer Survivors Month. So bless up to everyone that ever struggled from breast cancer. And so I've seen this side of medicine where Western medicine has been of benefit to my family. And I've also seen a place where it has done great harm. And I just don't want to be a hater, because I realize that there is medicine there that can help people. And there is a mindset that comes to it, If you are a believer in that, like, our mind is so powerful. If people just understood that, we are so powerful and our mind is so powerful. And if you believe that this is going to help you, perhaps it's the medicine, but perhaps it's your belief system in it also, you see?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to put that down. But for me, natural medicine is the one that my vibration works with best, even though I'm willing to suffer, realizing the things that I take. Like, let's just say I could take an ibuprofen, right? And it could work like super fast for me and I could not feel pain. But I could also be like, you know what? Maybe I should like drink my water. Like maybe I have a headache because I'm dehydrated. Let me check that out first. Like I probably haven't drank enough water today. Maybe I haven't eaten well enough. Maybe I need to up on these certain vegetables instead, or get some sunshine. Maybe I need to step away from the computer. So to me, I'm living a different way. So I don't really want to say it's about male or female, because when it really comes down to it, like our spacesuits are just that, our spacesuits,
Sure,
right?
sure.
And like our soul is the divinity. We are sparks of the most divine. So part of the problem is the division. Like sometimes it seems appropriate to say, hey, I'm a female, can I be her? But then at another, it can be harmful, this separation. If we can just come to a place where we realize like we're all on this journey together. If we can learn to work together and allow each other to be heard, we can come at each other more compassionately, be more forgiving, and gain wisdom from each other. Because to me, when you gain wisdom, it's hard to be so judgmental, right?
Sure.
I mean, at least that is for me, because like, how are you going to be a straight hater when you have gained wisdom about something that you didn't understand previously? Even if you just don't disagree, it's fine not to disagree, but you got to be a hater about it. I mean, so I don't want to be a hater even about this stuff. I just want a place to be heard where I say, hey, listen to my story. This stuff isn't good for me. And that's not how I walk. And listen, if that's how you walk, I'm cool with that. You do what you need to do for your family. But being on the side of standing up against or standing for this being forced upon people, this is a wrong choice. This is wrong. This is wrong to me. And it's like, you might not think it's touching you now, right? But one day it will. One day it will. If you agree with, a mandate that the government should be in charge of your body, and you don't get it yet, one day you will get it. And by then it will be too late. It'll be way too late.
No, I think that's where it's moved. That's where it's moved way past this polarized I'm for or against thing. Cause no, it's the hate doesn't happen within, there's no hating on it. It's I think that's where it gets rolled over into like having any sort of discussion about any of this stuff has to be viewed in this polarized love hate thing. And which it seems to, again, a little bit of trickery and spell crafting on their behalf, is because when you get into that lower level, like you're either for this product or you're against this product, you're really co-signing in that polarization to be allowed the next level to occur, is like this coercion and pressure to be applied for you to be in this debate circle of like, I'm either for or against. Like, I don't even think that you should be required to debate the choice. Right. Like, you shouldn't even, and that's where I was trying to go with the thing. It wasn't about the male female thing. It was more about the people that are into this coercion technique of heavy-handed, ultimately are using this thing that is very obvious to me as like, it's the same thing you said you were against and now you're for it. It's the interesting thing of how like my body, my choice now gets to be used over here, but not over here. And it's like, again, it's the split mind insanity of like, no, I shouldn't even have to debate. Like, I don't personally debate it in my own sphere of thought. Like, and I'm not, as a person who's into like holistic and all that stuff, I'm not a person who lives against. Like, I did all that. It made me crazy and angry and out of my mind. I'm actually pro, but when I get into this form of medicine that is being propagated as the only path forward right now, it's not a healing medicine. It seems to be a very much like, even when you were speaking of cancer, like, well, I won't get into to the cure thing. Like I go, no, we know what the cause of cancer is. The cause of cancer is quite obvious. So why try? And the spellcraft they do is like, let's find the cure. Why would we need to find the cure when we know what the cause is, and the cause is solvable? But that would entail, it's the same people that are running this gambit. And so it goes back to the questions you asked as an individual person sitting in your house, going through your metaphysical journey in your own personal spacesuit with its limitations and whatnot, how they've managed to insert this either or paradigm into like us. You're sitting on your couch, I'm sitting in my yard, and yet there's the looming thing out there, and it's real. Today I went and did some stuff today to go poke around. It's real. Like, as much as I live in my own little private world like you do, my kingdom, if you will. Like, I'm not a big, like, there's not a lot of people coming into my house. We're not interacting with the general world in a big way. Like, we do our own thing. But I went over to the Chinese military base over here to just take a look around and see what was going on. And as a non-complier, dude, there was just compliance. And it's, again, as it goes to my basic premise is I'm not there to figure out what everybody's health issue is. Like, you want to wear your thing and do your thing for you, good for you. But no way is 95% of the people in there unhealthy. Or maybe they are. Maybe it's just really like a sign of their own internal truth. Maybe they are that unhealthy, and it's just they get to. I don't get it. I want to.
Though, and I think that I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, not at all. You're good.
So if I hadn't stepped forward towards you, right, and you had just seen me randomly on the street, you would just be like, oh, well, let's just say I wasn't wearing this. I was just some lady with my face diaper. And you'd just be like, oh, look at her. What a dumbass. Like, we're complying with that. And my hope was also that you also could hear my story. Like, it's not what you think is going on isn't always what it is, you know, like open up a little bit to realize, like, there's a lot to this.
Oh,
because
yeah.
we all have such different lives. So I was hoping that perhaps you could see that as well. Like, I know that you're like totally anti-mask and you've been the whole time.
I'm not anti like that. Like that. It's to me, it's not an anti, like, it was like I was telling the story about the other day where I was defending the postman who, like, telling those activist kids to leave the postman guy who had his thing on, because you don't know what his deal was. And he's a no saucer too, but he was wearing it for his own reasons. Now, I'm not an anti-er. I'm more of a non-coercion guy, right? I'm a hypocrisy fighter. So my stance on that is you want to do that. Like, let's see some healthy choices in your cart. You want to come at me with your thing, then I don't expect to see you buying any like Mountain Dew and ho-hos and ding dongs, because I will freely go about my business because I know exactly where I'm at health-wise. You get what I'm saying? So, and I don't look in people's carts. Everyone can wear their mask. I don't care. Like,
come on, Hamish.
Well, I know I don't care in the sense.
Come on. I'm so a watcher of you. Come on.
No, I don't. But I guess
there was definitely a time when you were like, come on, you guys, you're complying. This is dumb. How dare you? You guys, this is dumb. You're stupid for complying. But I'll say, I did see a switch in you. I witnessed a switch in you. And it was when you met that guy. And he was also wearing a mask, and he was wearing it for his own reason. And there was an opening in you that I witnessed. And so I'm happy that you're having these openings where you realize like people have health issues that actually mine don't have to do with the things that I'm eating, because I actually take really super care of myself. Like I'm conscious of it and I'm still wearing a mask. And you might not see that. And you might have a judgment towards me and be like, you're complying and you're screwing shit up for me. You're screwing shit up for me. It's not my fault that you're unhealthy. Like, don't come at me with your rules and your mask. Like, that shit has nothing to do with me. And you're right. It has absolutely nothing to do with you. You're healthy. You eat healthy. You exercise. You surf. You get sunshine. You have a beautiful relationship with your family and your children. Like, I get it. If you're feeling like I have to wear this because you made a choice to drink Mountain Dew and eat McDonald's, like, screw you. I'm not going to wear the mask, and screw your rules because I have to wear the mask, because you made the choice to be sick. You made the choice not to take care of yourself. And my hope in talking to me that you could see like, hey, homie, guess what? I'm sick and it has shit all to do with McDonald's and Mountain Dew. And actually, like, yeah, I wear a mask because I can't risk getting shit. But I also want to say, hey, guess what? I don't want this either. I'm with you on that. And I think
that's what I'm getting at is like, I think that where I, just to clarify, my place doesn't come from that on a level. My place comes from a like, hey, on a certain date, everybody here rolled around a certain way, and everything that was going on, and I was even early on this whole thing. Like, I was way early on this whole thing, and I was like I played the role for a moment, and then I was like, wait a minute, this isn't about what it is. This is literally satanic ritualistic abuse on a mass scale, and it's taking, what I would argue is it's taking advantage of people in a situation like yours who truly do need the protections that are afforded them, and people are now making themselves actually more susceptible to things that would harm people that need to be safe. I mean, because scientific, if you want to get all into the thing, is it's like then we could really go about some protective measures. But I've never seen that from day one. I've never seen a concerted, we're doing this and it's a super logistical health issue. I've seen it all as a fraud perpetrated upon people that don't, you know what I mean? And the people.
And I think I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go. Okay. So for example, like when this all began, like as in the thing, like I don't believe in conflict, right? So I would wear the tiger gear, right? Like I think that the thing of like, I'm like, oh, that is not, because I won't comply, but I still always carry the tiger mask, because if anyone were to ask me and go, hey, for me, I would be like, no problem on a human level, but arbitrary, some piece of 8x10 paper taped to a building is now all we're going to do to protect everybody. This is what we're doing, is to piece of paper. And so I'm not into that. If you came to me and go, hey, look, dude, this is what's going on, and this is the program. We're going to all do this, and we're all super in on it together. And this is what we're doing. And we're going to go at this on a societal level to combat health issues. I'm all in, dude. You're talking to a dude who's like, I live in LA County. Like, I watch it. I'm like, you can't tell me you care about health as you pump toxins into my air supply and chlorine and fluoride into my drinking water and glyphosate into my food and all of that. So you want me to do this, which it says right on the box, it's not going to help anybody. So I'll wear the respirator for you. Is where I'm at with it. Like, if it's about health, I got my respirator I bought right off the bat. When it was super serious, I went and got the family the whole deal, dude. Like the
That
whole,
was so smart though. That's just a smart move in general.
but do you get what I'm saying? Is I don't come from an anti perspective in my soul. I come from a like, oh, you people are signing up for something you don't understand, because if you understood it from a health conscious perspective, you wouldn't be doing what you were doing. So what's that?
I get you on that. And also it's important to, I think, for whoever's watching to realize that, and I could be wrong, but we know that it's something bigger. It's something so much bigger. And I think it's important for everyone that is watching to understand that. I feel that Hamish and I are on the same page as far as like believing that this is like so much bigger than you actually think it is. Like, and it's been in the works for like a really, really long time. And so
yeah,
there's that. I think it's important to hear like that part of my story too. Like, yeah.
Well, I think that's where we're getting into this polarized reality is because we're not having a true conversation about, this isn't ever been about like health, which is something. Wait, hold on, I got to flip the record here. Wait 1 second. All right, records. We're for me, like one of my things that I get into is from my perspective, where you want to get me going about like the thing is like, let's talk about the food deserts for the undernourished communities that are negatively affected in our society, which are experiencing low education levels, broken families, broken spirituality. They don't have access to the same food I have access to, not but by their own choice, but by just straight distribution from 18-wheelers and policies that are put down by these planning commissions and low-level government agencies. And I go, if a dude like me doesn't point out the hypocrisy, I think that we are really abandoning the people that truly do need our help. Like there are like for example, there is a need for us to embrace a totally different healthcare system in this country. Like, because we're not getting served, we're not taking care of each other, we're not making sure our children are raised with nutrition and health, and I think that's where it comes on, because I have my conflict with that is observational versus actual in the field. You will never ever see me, if you bumped me in the world, you rolled up with your face mask on, you would never see me bad vibe you. Like, I don't, my interface with humanity, I don't care. Here I can talk about it because that's the medium, right? Like, because I truly believe energetically, like, that my job is to not add more chaos. It's like I was telling you, the lady I see at the market, like I won't wear it anywhere anymore, but there's this one lady at the market, she's older, and I know that she's paranoid, right? If I have to, and I'll choose any line but hers, but if I end up having to go to hers, I will actually put the thing on, just because I know, dude, like, why would I bring a bad trip to this person? Like, again, is if it was like that, like that I could just, the real healthy people that are in real health distress were around, we would be making healthier choices from the bystander perspective, I think. But then again, you would have to wear like your yellow needle. Like, so it's a weird catch-22 type of scene, if you kind of get what I'm saying.
It's so hairball. It totally is though. It fully is. And it's so hard to just like lift to the heights and like tread the water and not like fully fall apart like constantly. It's so hairball, and it's, you know, it's just terrible. It's awful on so many levels. And one of those things that I was trying to say in regards to my video, to me, they're not helping with this.
No.
And if they truly want to help, they would start implementing how to help our mind, our body, and our soul. Because if this isn't going away, how do you plan to walk this walk moving forward? Is this the answer? Is this the answer? I don't think so. And one of the things that I was saying is, you know, I had heard a story about somebody that had actually like followed all the rules, right? They had gotten this and then they had gotten the other one, and they were totally fine until they got the, you know, the other one. And then suddenly they were ill. So can you imagine following what they tell you to do? And you're like, you totally are positive you're ill and you did everything that they said. I mean, it's what then? I mean, I can just imagine you must feel horrible. Where I could be someone like me and go, well, like, I'm not taking it. Oh, and I catch it. Oh, it's my fault, right? Because I should have done this. And you got sick because you didn't do this. But I just think about all the suffering that has happened, like all the people that have committed suicide because of this.
I know more people who killed themselves.
Really talking about that, and that's major. Nobody's talking about all the people that have lost their sobriety, that are all junked out, plucked out on the sidewalk right now over this. Nobody's really talking about that. Nobody's talking about the mental health that they are fully struggling with because of what's happening. There's so much more to this story than this that needs to be addressed for true, proper, real health. And they're not addressing those things.
Well, no, I think that if you get to that as a person, like I know more people that have killed themselves over the last 18 months than I know who have passed in any other way. I know all sorts of people, like you said, relapse, the depression amongst the depression. That's why I do that Sober Wednesday thing, is because there's a huge need for, I mean, the stats are coming out that this has been that the like childhood obesity has increased dramatically in the last year and a half. No one's talking about that. You have all these children that are being forced, and they're healthy by their very nature of being children. And for me, I think where I will fully own my sort of hostility towards it on a certain level is like, dude, like you don't care. No way do you care if you're, and that's a blanket statement. I know that's not holding true. I'm just explaining it in a very visceral way is when I see it, I go, I've been spent my whole life fighting against that thing that you're afraid of, that you're wrapping yourself up and I've been fighting the machine my whole adult life. And I go, you don't care because, dude, I know, because you're proving you don't care because you're just got the thing on your thing and you're standing in line and you're like, now you're looking down and the whole thing. And I go, no, if you truly understood how this is the proof that you gave up your decision to care a long time ago, because we could have cared in the beginning really hard. Like, I guess that's where like a certain part of me, as I go, we're so far into this thing that the opportunity to have cared came and went, man, because we could have all demanded caring. So when I was fighting the cloth on the face down at the city council, right? I remember making one of my things because I was like, look, dude, you guys are spending your time making a mandate and passing a city council measure about this, but how come you're not spending these city council meetings talking about ways to make yourself help? This was coming into the fall last year, about a year ago. Why are you not using your platform as city council people to give people real solutions that will actually help them? If you want to implement this thing, that thing should ultimately come with an instruction manual printed on the inside of it that says, look, if you're going to wear this because you're worried about your health and you want to protect people, you need to do this, and you need to do that also. You need to stop drinking the soda and smoking the cigarettes and pounding the beer and doing the Coke. step one. Step two, you need to begin to exercise more if you truly care. And it should be printed on inside of these things and go, this is the instruction manual to get out of this, dude. There's all of these things. So when I'm told that it's just this flimsy thing and this other corporate product are the answers out, I go, wait a minute, dude. There's all sorts of things that could be added to this cornucopia of life, right? And
yeah.
And that's where I get where you get me pushing back on it, being like, nah, this isn't what it appears to be, you know. But I will defend anyone's right to do what they want. And I've noticed that in the field. I will defend someone who is pro all that from a truther if they harass that person, because that breaks the code too. Like I just don't want to be infringed upon, and I don't want to infringe upon anyone else. And my duty, and I've made that video about it, is like, if I'm going to live this lifestyle and I'm not going to participate in the corporate products, I also have to do all the other things that come with that. Like, I can't not participate in the corporate products while drinking the corporate sodas and watching the corporate programs and reading the corporate propaganda. Like, I have to, and going to the corporate events and all this stuff. I have to live a totally different lifestyle. And if I'm willing to live that lifestyle, why are you trying to coerce me? Like, I mean, you know, that's where I get a little bit like frisky about the whole thing.
It's so sad. It really is, right? It's like crying or laughing at just like, it's just so unreal. I'm just like, but it's real, right, Hamish? It's real.
It's real. It's really unreally real.
Right?
Well, I
totally here.
I was driving down on the 101 to do something today for a little bit. And, you know, you get clarity when you're on the highway for a minute, right? And I don't even know if you drive, but if you do, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you know.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So I had this moment of clarity where I was like, you know, in the future, there's going to be this big event that happened, right? They'll talk about it like, oh, yeah, like 9/11 or that, whatever. And there'll be this thing that happened, right? And I'll be like, at the end of it, like, nothing's really happened except this happening. Like, there was that, like, it like something happened, but nothing really happened because the numbers just got traded out. And at the end of the day, it's pretty much like a push, dude, really. If you want to get into the lives and the whole numbers and the whole thing, but I go, it wasn't like there's been some catastrophic event that took place where it's like, you know, a comet slapped into the side of the earth and like you lost 1/5 of the population. It's literally like a bunch of dudes in suits and ties were like, be afraid, be afraid. And you're like, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, well, I think when history looks back on that, it's going to be like, so you guys really just decided to become a real life episode of The Simpsons? Like it doesn't make any sense to me. That's what I was thinking about in the car today.
I think I'm more hesitant to say things like that because I don't want to be disrespectful to the people that actually have lost people. And I think making statements like that, sometimes people that lost their family members aren't willing to listen to really things that are of service that you have to say. So I'm hesitant to make statements like that because there are people that have lost people. And to me, it's important to like I said, lo siento mucho, you know, I'm very sorry. Anytime you lose someone you love, there's great suffering there. And I don't want to discount anybody's suffering for the people that have been lost. Like, you've been very lucky that you haven't lost anyone from this. And there are people that have, though. And I just want them to understand that even though I don't want this, I have great compassion for your suffering. And I don't want to discount that you've lost because you have. And I think it's important for me personally to say that. And just maybe you can come at me also compassionately, understanding like why I don't want to take that move, even if you think that if I took this, perhaps you wouldn't have lost your loved one. But I also want an ear to hear that, listen, I don't walk like other people. Can you have compassion to hear that's part of me, that I don't walk like other people? So
no, I get that. Like, but that's also like, so where I bump into that a little bit is like, where is all this newfound taboo about that? Because like when the opioid epidemic was sweeping across the nation a couple years ago, nobody gave it that kind of like, oh, dude, the people who lost their loved ones, they must be feeling this pain. It went on deaf ears when all of these things go on that's human life. Like, look, this is where I'm not, and I get where you're coming from and where I'm a little bit, I'm more like, I think everyone needs to call this out and be like, no, you don't get to hold that card, because we have, as a society, have been willfully destroying families around this planet. And if your 80-year-old grandma dying because of their comorbidities somewhere elicits this giant response, I ultimately go, well, where is this big response for the millions of people that were taken out by our bombs and our drones and our militaries across the planet, that everyone just was like, yeah, well, whatever, So I can't, as a person who has that side of me that's fully like, yeah, I get it. It sucks, man. Like, there isn't the big empathy for all the peripheral people that have been smoked on this deal. It's just this one codified group that's like, no, we can't talk smack about them because like, oh, and I go, nah, dude, like we went and obliterated countries. We obliterated Iraq. I used to work with an Iraqi gal who talked about watching cruise missiles go through her neighborhood, who was like a college educated girl. Where was the empathy for all of those people? They were just more American over theirs that got swept by the same corporate beast. So I'm a little bit more jaded about touching the third rail, about like, I can't, I'm going right in, because they're the same people that didn't want to take care of themselves. You look at the overweight of all these, the comorbidities of these people, they didn't take care of themselves. So all of a sudden we can't call that out and be like, you know what, man, like, we're not infringing on people's right to wedge food all day long or stick needles, shoot junk and join the military and become snipers. Like, I know it's a slippery slope what I'm talking about. And you're right. Like, ultimately, metaphysically speaking, like, I fully agree with you. I think that's where you get a little bit of where I'm just like, I don't know, dude. Because like, I think it's hypocritical on the societal level. For me, on the personal level, you're 100% correct. Personally speaking, and love and empathy to everyone I would never go up to someone who's suffering and be like, nah, you know what, the comorbidities, like, no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this narrative that's been inserted that like, we can't touch it, dude. It has to be like legit. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. That makes you can let me have it. I'm not afraid. Like,
that it's beautiful that you can say with bravery how you feel, because a lot of people don't stand in that place, where they just really have the strength within themselves to just call it like they see it. And I am on the other side where I'm just like, you know what? Losing people sucks no matter how you look at it. And because I have experienced loss, like, I'm not about like hating on that. That's just not my vibe. I'm not about it, because like I was thinking a lot about, like, remember when the HIV thing came out?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like super paranoid and scared, like so terrified. And people were hating so badly. Like, oh, it's your fault. You're gay. You're homosexual. Blah. And then they were like, oh, we're going to catch it. Like, don't let him touch you. Blah. You know, like it reminds me of that. And it makes me really, really sad because that super sucked. I remember living through that too. And, you know, there are people that I know that have passed away because of HIV. And I'm just, you know, I'm sensitive to it when I realize that these people that die have families behind them. They have children, they have mothers and sisters, brothers, lovers. Like, nah, I don't want to be a hater like that. And I'm not willing to take that route. And you know what else, Hamish? Like, I'm not perfect, y'all. I'm not nowhere near that place. And because I have a platform on YouTube, like, why do I want to even take the time to spread that kind of hate? Like, there's enough of that shit already. Like,
Well, I
don't
would
need
say
to
that it's not hate. Like there's no.
Someone could perceive what you're saying like that, and then they could miss a lot of beautiful things that you actually do say because you come like that. And maybe you just don't know that. Like, you are a powerful man. You really are. You are a very powerful man, and you have a lot of beauty and love to share. But I'm gonna come at you like, sometimes you're a straight hater, yo. And that's okay, because like, I can look at you through the screen and be like, yo, to my husband, Hamish is being a hater today.
Okay, so let me just
like straight hater sauce. But then we can see you again and be like, yo, look at him. He's back on the level again, like spreading that love super hard. The vibe is so high. But someone that could benefit from what you have to say could catch you on a day when you're just being like, rah, just get real. Sometimes you are like that.
Sure.
Hey, sometimes you come out with like the smoke, right? You come out with the smoke and the fire and you say it. And I just think it's kind of like a shame, because someone that could benefit might catch you on your down day. And that's a damn shame, because they could see you and be like, nah, I don't got time for this straight hater. But someone that's
I get it, but I get what I think that hate, none of it comes with hate, because the most hateful thing I see going on is everybody allowing this to occur and affect all these children. Like, to me, there's nothing more hateful than watching what's going on with these kids, and I watch it at the elementary school. So that's where I'm a little bit about it. Like, I fully accept your criticism as valid, for sure. I get into my ferocious thing, but none of it comes from, like, even anything I said, none of that comes from a place of hate. It comes from a place of like, no, this needs to be exposed, because the real thing that I see happening to us is we're placating a system that hates us. And if we don't get fired up about it, like, yeah, I struggle with it all the time. Like, I think that the people do need to be called out on their responsibility. I'm not a full like, hey, I didn't get any free passes, right? I had to swing my life around in a different direction, but it wasn't because people gave me a butterballed perspective. It was like straight, like what you would say is a hater perspective is like, hey, dude, like, this is the nuts and bolts. You're the ball in your court, right? And so, yeah, I think I do get a little bit, because people are balancing out our fates right now. They're like, well, because you don't want to play here, you're not as valuable as this person over here who wants to do this, but they aren't making any productive choices for the thing. So, okay, but I'm cool with that. We're all adults. Where I see that gets me like wanting to call out the BS is, I'm watching this like children be essentially abused and forced into a situation that is not correct on a rearing young human beings on this planet, that a bunch of demographically speaking people that are the numbers are there, that I think it should be called out. I think that it should be called out that yeah, I don't like, look, if I got emphysema all of a sudden, right? And it sucked. I got emphysema. I don't get a free pass and be like, oh, well, you know, we can't, he was a good guy. We can't say that he smoked and he did it to himself. Like, I smoked cigarettes, dude, once upon a time, like heavily. I smoked weed for 30 years. I drank alcohol like a lunatic. Like, if I died because my liver conks out, I hope that it gets called out, that it's part of my thing. This is what happens when you treat your young body like a garbage disposal for 2 decades. Like, yeah, you get your life's short and you're susceptible to the failures of something that could come along. So that's where I'm coming from. It's not, it's this thing is the old people have had their shot at this whole thing. I'm 52, dude. If a boulder falls on my head, like, oh, well, when I look at the youth, when I look at these young beings being brought into the planet and I see that their future is being scrapped for this thing, I go, nah, I can't. That's when you get that. You get this because I have a child in the game. And I go, dude, what's going on here, man? It brings out my caveman. Because I live right from, I watch this thing going on at the school every day, dude. And it is tragic what is going to happen to these beings moving forward. Do they get a way out? You know, we talked about it. It seems very manipulative for me. And that's where you are correct. I could catch more flies with honey. But then again, I don't think that I'm that concerned on that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, because I show up and I do ride the truth of it all. Like, I am willing to accept what you had to say about it, for sure.
But you know, like, I'm not a saint in any way. Like, I could talk super shit for real. Like, and I can be a straight hater. Like, for sure I can. So I don't want anyone that's watching this to think that I'm like standing in the place of like saintlyhood and I'm like peace and love, all nicey nice. Like, no way. For sure I can be a hater. For sure.
Well,
and for sure my words can be so sloppy. For sure. I'm just living a life right now where I'm just trying to catch myself, for real. Yeah. This is like my journey. I'm trying to catch myself and I'm trying to like treat people ultimately the way that I want to be treated, because like it sucks, man.
For sure.
Sucks. People coming at you suck. Even if you deserve it, it sucks. And let it be known, like, I was raised in like a rough way. You know, New Mexico isn't like bougie land, you know. Well, it can be, it totally can be bougie land. I take that back. I'll take that back. But the way that I was raised, you know, I was raised in a place where like people don't play nice. If they have some shit to say, they're going to say it. So I was raised in that place. And like me just calling you out the way that I did, if I wasn't raised in that way, I wouldn't call you out. Like, I wouldn't have the bravery to be like, really, Hamish? Like, come on, man. Are you sure?
Well, I want to be. That was half the point of why I think I like where this is all going with this kind of change. And the thing is we are to be called out. Like that is the thing is the echo chamber, I think, is why we're in this dire situation is we all need to be checked every now and then. That's what I mean. It's like,
oh, for sure. You should definitely pull the cards of the people that you love.
Yeah, that's the true caring move. That's like, I guess that's sort of what I was trying to explain. And the thing is it doesn't come from that energy. Like, it's that used to be my darkness. The Hiroshima Nagasaki stuff was definitely like hate filled. Like the one thing that I'm not coming from is that energy. I get fired up and I'm aggressive and this thing, but it very much, I think, comes in the same way as is with my son, right? Like I'm pretty soft on a level, like on a super level, but then like so we were riding our bikes the other day. This is a prime example, and I'm not trying to whitewash anything. So we were riding our bikes, right? And we were on the busy street, not a bit in the neighborhood, but there's like one busy street that kind of goes through it with a turn. It's not like a busy street. It's, you know what I'm saying? So we're riding the bikes, and we're with his mom, and we're riding, and he's not paying attention. Like he's looking back to see where mom is, and he's sort of not doing his normal thing. And I'd warned him twice before where it was mellower. I go, hey, like you need to focus on your bike riding and only your bike riding, because there's cars around here. And we were on this corner, and like he was like doing his thing, and I was like, you got to get off your bike. And he's like, no. And I like I cut him off into the curb, and like I sat him down there, and he's like, give me my bike. I go, no, you're not allowed to ride your bike. And it got pretty heated because I was like, the consequence of that going wrong is catastrophic. Like that's my dude. Me rolling over on it because I don't want to have that moment, it could be catastrophic. Was it gnarly? If you were sitting out in the neighbor's yard, if I was there listening, like I was fired up, but it wasn't coming from a place of like, it was like, look, dude, like the alternative to this could be this, you getting run over by a car because you're swerving into the lane here and it's game over. And it was very like a heated moment from a dad perspective of like, and trying to guide us past, because we'll never know, right? Like if you were just the neighbor, it's just a dad yelling at his kid. But the other one could have been a dead kid.
Yep.
And then there's no more yelling. Like, so it's very hard, this space that because if it was me and I was just little old me rolling around, I'm not that concerned about any of this. Where I get where you see that tension come from is the children. Like I've watched the effect of my stepdaughter. I've watched the effect on Owl, dude. Like just the weirdness of it all. Like it's like, even as a dad who shielded his son from the general thing of it, like his life's changed dramatically with it. Like the options have been limited, and he shouldn't have any options limited as a little human being, dude. Like his friend pool of meeting people out in the thing is shrunk, because, and that's not fair. That is lethal from a developmental child perspective. Like I get like that the masks on the children is child abuse. And I'm not again, we're all adults. Fine. Make your adult decision. The coercion of a child being forced with the thing is like, dude, they're children. They deserve the utmost respect. Because if this whole thing the children didn't make this crazy world, right? The children aren't responsible for this shit show that is life on Spaceship Earth. This is a direct result of the adults' lack of caring, empathy, and inattention. And for us to put it on the backs of children, to me, is I'll hate on that. You know what, man, if you got me in the corner on that, I'll own that. I hate that. And that's maybe something I need to explore a little bit, because I'll own it. Yeah, I hate what they're doing to the children. It brings out, it makes me, yeah, you got it. You're right.
I don't have living children. So I would say if I did, I would be very, very pissed off. And I'm already pissed off because, I have nieces and nephews, and I think it's so sad. It's so sad. I mean, they'll never experience life as I knew it as a child. And that's heartbreaking, for real.
Yeah.
It's so heartbreaking. And I just want you to know that I understand why you would be so pissed off. But I think I was just coming at the place where I wanted to recognize, like, people have lost.
Sure.
Lost. And I want to be respectful for those people. And I think it just comes across sometimes when we're just like, rah! And I'm not saying you don't have a reason, because you have a small child that you love very much, and your daughter and your wife and yourself and everyone else you love. And there's reasons to be super angry. Trust me. I a lot of times my anger is just expressed in tears. Like, I just cry my face off, honestly. I cry so much. I really do. And, that's the way that you're expressing. You're expressing in that way where you're just ready to go raw, and you want it to be heard because you don't think it's fair. And it's beautiful that we have this opportunity to share this space with other people.
Sure.
It really is. I just think that, God, Hamish, you're an amazing dude, man. I'm super happy to have come across you and had the blessing of hearing you. And I think that you have been a benefit to my life and a lot of other people's lives too. But yeah, I'm going to call you out when you're a little bit on the straight hater.
Fair enough. No. It's this thing is again, from where I will fully accept that truth, because it is valid. Is I think that one of the things that if I look at the body of work, if you will, from this YouTube journey, the one thing that I have done that I will hang my hat on is I have brought out my worst sides too, and displayed them publicly, because, and I think for those who've stuck around, if I came and didn't express that, I may be putting myself in danger, because where does that go? I don't know. But B, I'm not doing whatever it is that I have been doing here, which would be to ultimately lie to you. And I don't mean you, I mean the proverbial you, in the sense of that's straight up is my truth in the moment. That is an hour out of my own experience, caught like the accumulation of an experience put out into an hour through a interactive medium, right? And so yeah, I can fully accept it, own it, and I don't even know if I shy away from it in a certain sense, because it's not coming from the perspective. I ain't trying to sell coffee mugs on that vibe. You get what I'm saying? I listen to a lot of dudes that are gatekeepers in the thing, right? And I always discern them, because they do that, they call it the hating, right? And they don't really try to offer any solutions. That's why I will always circle back and be okay, that's what the darkness that lies within me. That's why I did that whole thing about the genocidal maniac that's contained within inside of me. Because if I don't confront that with you guys and the tribe, how does anybody else get over their own? I see this as on a spiritual thing. I see a lot of what's going on is people are so afraid of themselves that they can hide, and they can hide from themselves, because if they were ever given the opportunity they are unchecked. I don't know if love is everybody's default and empathy. And I think that we're seeing this isn't like, these are people and this is their default, is to point a finger at you and go, you're the problem. I don't care what your story is and what your health issues are. You need to get along. And I go, that seems to be the default on it. While those of us who are truly trying to figure out our journey towards God, it's like, yeah, like, okay, that's why I need God. Is like, I'm not reacting. I'm not afraid of myself, because I know that, like, I don't want to live that life. If I didn't talk about it here, I'm liable to keep it pent up, I guess is what I'm saying, is I do expose my own warts, so to speak. And so I do appreciate you. I absolutely appreciate what we're doing here, because I think that interacting on this level opens up a bigger lens into what it is I'm doing and what it is we're all doing, because it ain't easy.
No, and I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for you giving me this opportunity. And because I share on YouTube, I know that it's easy, or any social media, right? We can give this little pretty picture of ourselves, little pretty pictures of our little pretty lives. And when you share on YouTube, there's like trolls all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
And if you're coming at people with the truth of who you are, man, it's painful when people come at you, pulling your card, like I am you right now. People will come at me and pull my card and say, oh, you this, blah, 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 whatever. That shit hurts when you're telling the truth. You are coming at a place of truth and letting us see the dark, the light, the ups, the downs, the sideways. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm grateful. And I hope that you know that when I tell you.
Oh no, because that's what I mean, is like, that's the difference is the troll. The troll doesn't care. The troll's the troll. Someone who actually cared, that you're supposed to. So when I published this book back in the 90s, right? I wrote this novel, and the people that I truly respected were the ones who were like, dude, I read your book. It's kind of sucks in parts, and it's a little funky and this and that. And I would be like, so you actually read my book? Like, you read my book? And the people that were like, oh, your book's rad, it's this and this, I'd be like, I always would walk away being like, I don't think you even opened the cover, dude. Cause like, no way can you say that, because I wrote the book. I know exactly how screwed up it is and how funky it was. So that's where I get to a little bit of like, where I don't fear it in this medium. Like, this medium is two human beings looking at each other across satellite waves and electromagnetic frequencies, but it's not coming from typed words and like, it's genuine. And that makes it truly a good thing. Because if we don't tell each other the truth, who's going to?
Word to the mother.
Yeah, dude. Like, because I think that there's a weird thing, and that's where I think a lot of people, especially doing these mediums, struggle. Like I'm one of those. Like, I don't generally speak. I don't participate in other people's spheres, so to speak. Like, I very rarely send it. Where I got someone just called. I forgot to turn off. They got to flip the record, and then we'll wrap this up. But I rarely comment on other people's stuff, right? Because it's this thing where, like, it's just weird. I don't know what it, like, I don't know. I don't know what it is, because I generally listen to, like, I've been listening to this dude, The Pockets of the Future, right? Lately. And he's been put on this. I'm just giving it because he's been putting this his entire life story in this 20-part thing. And it's got to be like 60 hours of stuff. And I don't know. I just been like, and it's not a pleasant story, this dude's life and journey and children and this whole thing. And there's this weird thing where like, I just listen to it and I go, all right, dude, like, I don't know. I don't know. And this dude's very clear in his thing. Like there's a wall, like, don't come in with your thing. And me, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, I don't ever read comments. Like if you put a comment at the bottom of my video, I'm never going to see it. Like, cause I don't look because it's not real. But when someone sends me an email or a letter or something, I go, okay, I know what this is. This is somebody sat down with their time to put their energy into this thing that is my life, right? And go, hey, this is what I think about what you're doing. And I view that as like, that is the greatest, that is the ultimate like reward of this whole thing is when that's why the minute I got your email, I was like, oh, like this is like the shift, because it didn't come at me with smoke and mirrors. It came with me like, hey, look, dude, like this is what's going on. And I go, that's what I like. And that's what I want it all to come, because it diffuses the whole thing, right? Like you can't hold the angry tiger and the loving spiritual being in the same hand. You got to be one or the other. Like, and the more this guy gets, the angry tiger gets worked on, so to speak, the more this overpowers and we move to the new, because we're getting ready for a new journey. You know what I mean? Like,
oh. Hold on.
Well, let's do it on that. Let's end it on that note, right? Like on a super, because you know, we could go super dark about like what is really going on, but who cares? No, that doesn't matter, because we're in the light, like two people getting to know each other via this medium. You're in New Mexico, I'm out here in California. Different stories, different perspectives. We're coming at this thing. So what is your excitement for this path we're all walking, or our segment of the crew on Spaceship Earth that we're walking? What give me your exciting take about it all.
I've had really intense spiritual growth during this. And for myself and for everyone else, I feel excited for the Most High to elevate for real. And I'm ready for it to change. I'm ready, even though it scares shit out of me and I cry and I'm like, ah. I really do believe like the Most High knows what's up.
Yeah.
Most High knows what's up, and I'm okay no matter what happens. Like no matter what happens, we're okay. And it's kind of, even though it's terrifying, it's in our face. And Hamish, it's happening. Like we talked about this, like it's real. It's happening for real. For real. And it's scary and it's awful. And I cry and you're pissed off and I'm pissed off, but it's happening. And when it comes down to it, it's going to be better than it was in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be, those that want to be lifted to the heights, those that want to live in the heights of the Most High, like we know the work that we really have to do here. We know. And that to me is exciting. Yeah. And it's exciting for me to see those that want to like be the lighthouse, shine the light and go, homie, hey, I'm here. You're not alone. Yeah, it's happening. But let's help each other out by sharing our stories. Let's lift each other up by sharing our stories and letting each other know that we're not alone while we walk into the next. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. No, this is a cool inaugural thing on this, because I think Jeanette and Andrew are coming on Monday, and we're gonna do this with them. They're expecting a child. And then I think Trent's coming on, and then I believe that Lily's coming on here pretty soon. And then what I would like to do is I love these kind of conversations. I like it to be a little bit difficult and a little bit fun and a little bit comedy and a little bit uncomfortable. It's good for me, right? Because I do live in my own echo chamber. And then I think what I like to do is about every now and then we have like a all of us kind of come together for a moment and sort of do it rotating like that, and kind of we'll get to know each other. Because I've noticed the one thing with this, right? We're all out there, and I think it's time for us all to kind of come together and put a face to who we all are. Because it's just me. Like, I'm just a dude. Like because you make content. It's pretty weird what we do.
So it really is. But you have a call to do it, and so do I.
This is what I do.
Call, because it's super, super strange, and I just feel like you really do have to have a call to, like, especially if you're the type of person that's making content where, like, you're really sharing the truth of your life. Like, you have to have a call to do it, because it's just weird out here. Right?
To say the least. It's the thing of, like, like most people, they're watching you talk to them, but I just watch myself talking to myself.
I'm talking to myself too. That's the weird thing about it. I'm like looking at a video camera, literally talking to myself, until someone actually decides to, like, jump on my channel and have a convo with me. I'm like literally making video talking to myself, or saying, hey, you out there, any of you that are out there, like, what's up? Are you cool? Are you crying? Are you okay? What's up?
Well, right. Isn't that, like, one of the cool parts about it? Like even to go back to what you were calling me out on, like there's a certain level of, like, you really are sort of working out your own issue in, like, live time. Like when you start, you're like, oh, and then you kind of, it begins to morph in this it's a very interesting process. Sometimes when it works, and sometimes it just doesn't.
Oh, I so know. Yeah. But here we are. And look, it brought us together, and I'm super grateful. It's so feels good.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about it.
Yeah, me too. And this, I'm going to put everybody, this is the Book of Uma's channel right here. I'm going to spam the chat with that so they can go over and check, because you got some good stuff over there, man. If you want to hear some very interesting chapters of I will highly recommend Sobriety and Miracles. Like that one. That's a good one.
Thank you so much, Hamish. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And like I just illustrate to people about, like, life and stuff. Life's much more accessible than most people make it out to be. You pretty much sent me an email 5 days ago, and here we are. Things happen, and it's everyone's out there. Like, we can make these things happen. You're an immensely powerful human being, Uma, and everybody else out there. I hope you understand how powerful you are. And just because you fall down and fail doesn't mean that you're not powerful. That's the great gift of this life, right? Is struggles.
For real. You're not alone.
You're not alone. So this was a pleasurable couple hours we spent doing this. Well, we went way longer than I figured. You never know how these things are going to go. That's the funny thing about these kind of conversations. Like,
hey,
they either work or they don't. So we got it. We can have a conversation live, and I look forward to doing it again, Uma.
Yay, Hamish.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Bless up, brother.
All right. Take care, everybody.